Good morning, BookTube. It has been a couple of days since I made a video. I try to make a video every 24 hours, but as I have mentioned, we have our 11-week-old granddaughter staying with us for 5 days, Coralie, and she wakes us up during the night for bottles, and plus my wife is off for 5 nights, and I'm a very light sleeper, so I don't get much sleep, and I'm kind of going around in a mental fog. And I was going to make a video yesterday, Friday Reads, but I was just too tired. I really have been too tired to read. So, but I have been reading. First of all, today is June the 9th, 2018. In my 2018 diary, I'm on page 445. Recently, I got a comment from somebody I've known for a long time outside of BookTube. I used to read his blog, and he's on my Flickr account. But he was saying he would like me to see more videos talking about writers and doing book reviews. And when I started this BookTube a couple of years ago, I described it as a diary of talking about my paper journal, my diary, and book collecting. And that's what basically I do in these videos, is talk about keeping a diary, a diary. I've been keeping a diary since I was in high school. Now, as I've said, back in 1968, when I was in 12th grade, I started writing, but I never really wrote every day until about maybe 42 years ago, 43 years ago, I started writing every day. And when I was in high school, and probably in my, the early 1970s, I know I wrote in a diary, but I probably didn't write as much. And but I have been writing every day for at least 42, 43 years. So it's kind of like what I'm trying to say is that my BookTube videos is like a video diary of a bookworm, a Christian book lover, and that's what I do here. Now, I do talk about books. I do tell you the books that I find interesting, the books that I am reading that I think are worth buying. I recommend, like I said, one of the reasons I started BookTube was talk about Christian books, because most people in BookTube are not Christians, or they're not into Christian literature. And since I've been reading, I'm a Christian kind of bookworm, that I do read a lot of Christian books, commentaries, like this book on my study desk, Introducing Medieval Biblical Interpretation by Ian Christopher Levy, and things like that. But I also have always been reading non-Christian books, novels, non-fiction books on history. It just goes on and on. Art books, essays, short stories. I love biographies. I love memoirs, letters, not only of artists and writers, journalists, politicians, people like that. I would like to do book reviews, but it's kind of like, even before I got into BookTube, I would read a novel, and I would say to myself, if I was to write a book review of this book that I'm reading, I could write a book. See, I don't know, how do you, like I'm reading, first of all, Well, it's kind of like I was thinking, for example, how do you write or talk about this book in 15 minutes? The Path of Christianity, The First 1,000 Years by John Anthony McClellan. Now, I've read only how many pages in this book? 223, and it's 1,190 pages, I think. 1,175 pages. How do I talk about this book? Review it. First, to be really frank, I'd have to finish the whole book and then summarize 1,170 pages in a video. And tell you the truth, I don't know how to do that. I mean, like, how do you do a book review on John interpreted by early Christian and medieval commentators? I mean, how do I do a book review on that? Or how do you do a book review on Nicaea and its legacy and approach to 4th century Trinitarian theology? I don't know. Now, there is a novel. I could do novels. And this is where it goes into my Friday reads. Now, our granddaughter has been here since Wednesday, and Wednesday evening. Now it's Saturday. She's been here since Thursday, Friday. Now she's Saturday. Thursday, first of all, I had read on the internet that a certain book I had been reading won a prize for best translation. And I had been reading it several months ago. This is called The Invented Part by Rodrico Fresan, translated from the Spanish by Wulf Vanderden. And when I read that this had won a Best Translation prize, I got it out of the lower level. And all day I read it Thursday. I haven't been really reading my Christian books in the morning due to just too much activity around me. Carol, Cora, being tired, just being out of my routine, out of just not able to get my head together. So I read this all day Thursday, and I really enjoy this. It says here in the back, with biting humor and propulsive, contagious style, amid the accelerated particles of his characteristic obsessions, the writing of F. Scott Fitzgerald, the music of Pink Floyd, the Kinks, 2001 Space Odyssey, the links between great art and the lives of the artists who created it. Fresan takes us on a whirlwind tour of writers and muses, madness, genius, friendships, broken families, alternative realities, exploring themes of childhood, loss, memory, aging, and death. Now, when I was reading this book, it's not really a novel. It's more like a hodgepodge of all kinds of things. But I like that where it says with biting humor and propulsive, contagious style. So I was been reading that Thursday, and then Friday I got out of the lower level last week or this week, The Invention of Nature, Alexander van Humboldt's New World by Andrea Wulf. This is what I read yesterday and I was reading this morning. So this is basically what I've been reading in my exhausted, blown out kind of state. The Invention of Nature, Alexander van Humboldt's New World, in The Invented Part. This is by an Argentina writer. Rodrico Fresan is the author of 9 novels, including Kensington Gardens, Mantra, and The Bottom of the Sky. His works incorporate many elements from science fiction, Philip F. Dick in particular, alongside pop culture and literary references. But it's kind of it's a fun read. It's entertaining. It's not really a narrative. I mean, there is a certain narrative, I suppose, storyline, but it's way underneath the book. So I've been reading these the last couple of days since Wednesday. Now, yesterday I volunteered at the library used bookstore, the Book Nook, which I do on Mondays and Fridays from 10 to 1. So yesterday when I was at the Book Nook, I got as my free book for volunteering Less by Andrew Greer. This just won the Pulitzer Prize. So I got this, and then I bought a novel called The Black Robe by Brian Moore. And so that's what I got from the Book Nook. I have another novel by Brian Moore in our library, The Musician's Wife by Brian Moore. So I got these yesterday. Well, I got these two from the Book Nook yesterday. The Black Robe by Brian Moore, Less by Andrew Greer. I have two other novels by Andrew Greer in our library. I mean, he wrote The Confessions of Max Trevoli and The Story of a Marriage I have by him. So I was going to make this short and sweet because, like I said, I'm tired. I'm kind of in a mental fog. I just want to touch base with my subscribers, people who watch my videos, that I don't like to go away for long periods of time from BookTube. It's kind of like I have to write every day in my paper diary. I have to write every day in my online diaries because I like to keep track of my existence, the death flow, as I say. And like I said, I look at my BookTube videos as part of my online diary, as part of my Facebook and live journal and BookTube, and all these things are kind of all connected, trying to present to the world my life as a Christian bookworm, as a Christian living in this world in a state of exile and a state of just not knowing what's going on but living by faith. So yeah, so I just want to touch base. It is a Friday. No, it's not a Friday. It is a Saturday morning here in West Michigan. It's going on 9 o'clock in the morning. I've been up since 10 to 6. I woke up really early because the bedroom was steaming hot and humid. It's been raining all day here in West Michigan. Humid, sticky, wet. Everything is just explosion of green and plant growth. I've been taking pictures of my flower garden. Lots of wildflowers are coming up. And yeah, that's it. So I just want to make a video. Like I said, I'm just kind of touching base. Like I said, I've been primarily reading The Invention of Nature by Andrea Wulf and reading The Invented Part by Rodrico Fresan. And I have a bunch of thrift store used books I haven't shown yet. Maybe I'll get around to it sometime next week when things kind of settle down. Find out where my head is at. So I hope you're having had a good week, have a good weekend, and until next time, bye. I should say first of all, thank you for the comments, thank you for the new subscribers, and yeah, until next time, bye.